This video is going to be all about decals in Revit. Decals are a really powerful tool that allows you to create paintings, signs, billboards, but also create other interesting effects to your surfaces inside of Revit. Let's go. Now quickly, before we jump into Revit, I would just like to ask you to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com. I'm going to be leaving a link to it up in the cards above and then also down in the description of this video. If you're serious about learning Revit, that's definitely the best place to be, with over 140 hours dedicated to all of the interesting and complex topics inside of Revit. Now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into Revit. And here we are in Revit. We have a simple door and a brick wall, and let's say that this is an entrance to a bathroom and we want to add some sort of a sign that says, well, this is a bathroom. So let's see how can we use decals to achieve that. Now, to find the decal tool, you need to go to the Insert tab, and quite inconveniently it's located over here. I don't like this. I would prefer it to be here on the Modify tab on the Geometry panel next to Paint, but this is what we have. So anyways, the decal tool looks like this, and that's the Place Decal. However, if we expand the drop menu, you can see that we actually have two tools. So Place Decal and Decal Types. So this is where you create your decal types, and this is what you click to place them. Now, I don't really have any decals created, so let's click on Decal Types, and let's create a decal for this bathroom sign. So you can just click here and create a new decal. It's going to say new decal. Let's call this one the bathroom sign. Click OK, and now we have the settings, and here we have that decal. And of course, if we create new ones, they're going to appear in this section here. Now, the first option is source. So basically you need to define where the image is located on your computer so Revit can pull it from there. So you can go here to source, click on the little button with three dots, and now you can find your image. I've already downloaded this image and I can hit open. And this is basically what that image looks like. Now here we have some settings in terms of brightness, reflectivity, transparency, and depending on what you're trying to achieve, you may want to play around with these. I'm only going to change the finish. So we have matte, semi-gloss, gloss, high gloss, and custom. So I'm going to go with semi-gloss for this sign. We also have luminance, so if you want this sign to glow, you can actually assign what type of glow you want to see. So I think this can be really cool for those kind of glowing signs or something like that. So this is something that you can incorporate in your designs. However, for this one isn't just going to be illuminated. Then we have bump, so if it's supposed to be bumpy for some reason, so kind of show a different material through this decal, that's also possible. So you can add a bump image. For that, I'm just going to leave it as is. And cutouts, this is something that we're going to be talking about a bit later on. But for now, let's just click OK. And that's pretty much it. We have saved our new decal, and now it's time to place it. Now to place it, I can go here to the drop menu and click on Place Decal, or I can simply click here, and that's going to open up the Place Decal tool. Now on the option bar, we have the width and height, as well as the log proportions option. So let's say you want this sign to be 600 by 600 millimeters. You can just type that in. It's going to log proportions. You want to keep those for now, and now we can just simply click on any surface in the model. Here I want it to be on the wall, so I'm just going to click there on the wall, and it's going to bring that image in. Hit the escape key a couple of times, and now we can select the image itself. You can see that here in the properties we can change the width and height of it. Also, we can unlock the proportions. So if you want to change the width, here I go to 650, it's just going to do that, and it's going to make it larger. Also, you can use the little grips here to graphically control the size, which is also useful. And if you check or uncheck log proportions, now you can, well, make the people a bit wider if you want. I don't want this, so I'm just going to go back one step. Okay, so now we can just place it wherever we like, just like that. And one thing to take into consideration is it's only going to appear, so the image is only going to appear on the surface on which it's hosted. If I take it off to the side here, it's not going to be displayed there. So you just want to keep that in mind and just keep it on the surface where you want to place it. Okay, so this works really fine. I really like it, but let's say we want to have one on the door itself. So what's really cool about decals, they're not only hosted on walls. You can host them pretty much on any surface in your model as long as it can accept that decal. So here, if I go place decal, I can click on the door and there we go. So it's placed on a door. But as you can see, if I move it off to the side, this door frame is a different surface, so it's not going to display there. So it's only going to display on each surface. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now here, it might make sense not to show the white background, so just show the two figures without the background. I think that would be useful. Here on the brick, it makes sense to have the background. Here, not so much. So how do we do that? Well, I've shown you that cutout option, so let me show you how you can actually implement that in Revit. So for that, we need to create a mask or a cutout map, as Revit would call it, and we can do that in any image editing software, and in this case I'm just going to be using Photoshop. Of course you can use any free image editing software on the market. I just have Photoshop, so I'm going to be using that. Okay, so here inside of Photoshop, I just want to invert this image. So basically the cutouts work exactly how masks work in Photoshop. So if you don't know, basically anything that's white is going to be displayed, anything that's black is not going to be displayed, and anything gray is just going to give you opacity kind of according to the shade of gray. So if it's light gray, it's going to be visible or more visible, the opacity is going to be higher, and if it's darker gray, the opacity is going to be lower. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so in this case, we just want to display the two figures and a line between them, so we need a cutout mask that's going to show only that. So we basically need to reverse this. Everything else needs to be black, and just the two figures need to be white for the mask or the cutout map itself. So that's going to be easy. I'm just going to go here to adjustments, find invert, apply that adjustment, and then I'm going to go to file, export, and just export this as a PNG, and I'm going to save this as the bathroom image dash cutout map. Save this image. You can use JPEGs, you can use PNGs. I'm going to minimize Photoshop, and let's go back to Revit, and now let's create a new decal type with that cutout just for this image, because we don't want to change this one. So what I'll do is I'll select this image, and then we can go into edit type, and here we have the decal attributes. So I can go into edit, and here we can edit that. But if we make any changes here, it's going to change the one on the wall. So I don't want that. So let's cancel out of all of this, go to insert, go to decal, and go to decal types. Here I'm going to duplicate the existing bathroom sign, so let's call it bathroom sign 2, perfectly fine. And now let's go to cutouts and add an image file. Here, let's go to source, we have a new source field, go there and pick the image or bathroom image cutout map. Hit open, and this is what we have. Click OK, and now let's select this one and change the decal from bathroom sign to bathroom sign 2. And this is what we get. As you can see, now it doesn't have the background, and it's fitting into our design a lot better, in my opinion. Finally, let's just check out what this would look like if rendered. So I'm just going to open up the floor plan here, and let's go and place a camera just like this. So just a simple camera view. I'm going to hit RR for render, and then let's make this a medium rendering. Hit render, and let's see what we get. So there we go. As you can see, it looks really nice here on the wall, and I think even better on the door itself. So basically that's how you can use these decals in order to add signs, posters, things like that to your model. And as you can see with cutouts, it can even look like paint, or you can even use this to add a bit of character to your surfaces with a little bit of damage and cracks or something like that. I think that's a cool way to use decals. Also, something important to mention, you can have decals as part of your Revit templates, and also if you want to transfer them from one project to another, you can simply use transfer project standards. Here on the manage tab, we have the transfer project standards tool just over here on the settings panel. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com, for more Revit courses. There I have over 120 hours of content, and I'm adding more each week. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also I've added a video over there that might interest you as well.